Hello, Canisius College. Welcome to the final episode of HashtagGriffSports for this semester. It's been a fun ride with you all this spring, and we've got special guest host on the show today, Pat Clancy. He and I are going to talk about everything in the world of Griff Sports from this entire year. And Pat, what we'll do, we'll go through each sport individually. We've got an MVP named for each sport, and you'll give us your thoughts a little bit on how each season went. So let's jump right into it with you, Pat, telling us a little bit about yourself. I know you work with C Block and you're a communication major here.
Yeah, my name's Pat Clancy. I'm a communication major, classics minor. I am the president of The Wire. It's the radio station here. Not many people know, but we do have one. And I'm director of fan experience at C Block, what most people know me for, in the cutoff T-shirts.
Yeah, it's a wonderful look. You pull it off well. And I know everyone loves to see you at every game. I know you're at most of them. Let's start right off with men's soccer. That was the first sport to get underway back in the fall. And they were just 1-6 in the MAC, but overall they were 8-7-2. They got off to a really strong start to the season, mainly propelled by senior forward Gavin Falconer. He had 10 goals, 6 assists, led the team with 26 points. But their strong start got kind of a surprising year for the amount of success that teams had. They really got it rolling right away.
Yeah, I feel that it was really crucial that soccer kicked us off in the beginning. The freshmen coming in, they're, start to get excited about sports. We had that big, it was like a five in a row win streak, and that was, getting a lot of people to the soccer games. Usually they aren't super packed, but, a couple of the games were really, it was almost standing room only, and that's, very impressive. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was definitely surprising for me to see so many people there early. On the other side of things, though, with the women's soccer team, they were a bit of a younger team. They weren't quite as exciting because they weren't winning as much, and we'll get their record up on the screen in a second for you. The MVP for them is junior forward Brianna Smith. She was their primary scorer, 11 goals. She had 22 points. They were just 4-14-1 overall, 2-6-1 in the MAC. So, like we just talked about, the men had all this success early, but the women not so much. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, the women have a lot of younger players. I've got 3 on my floor. I've got Brittany, Tia, and Tara. They all played their hearts out, but a young team, you really can't do what you can with an older team. It's a whole different playing field from high school. So they really tried hard. They have a lot of heart. Got some really nice girls on the team. They're all great players, but they just couldn't pull it out what they wanted to do. And hopefully within the years to come, all those freshmen that are on the team, when they turn to juniors and seniors, you'll have much more of a powerhouse, and it'll build more of an established program.
Yeah, that's really what the hope is. I know from watching them, that was a team that was just really missing leaders. They had a few upperclassmen, but none of them had that leadership quality that you're really looking for. On the volleyball team, however, this was a team with a lot of upperclassmen, and they had very good leadership, primarily from junior setter Sydney Palka, senior middle Sam Good. They were co-MVPs, and it's tough to choose between the two of them. They also had senior libero Ali Severin, who was wonderful, and that got them off to a very good season. They went 16-13 overall, won 13 games in MAC play. Talk about them a little bit.
You know what? The volleyball team was the first team that, when I came in here last year as a freshman, that was the first team that I got involved in, being kind of a nut, I guess. Lack of a better word. But the volleyball team, bunch of fantastic girls. They're all great. They have great team chemistry, and I think that that's what had them be able to win all these games and to work so good together. It's a team sport, and it really shows if the team, not only are they conditioned enough, not only how well do they have the brain for the game, but is team chemistry is that X factor that a lot of teams might not have. We had a lot of really great freshmen. Jordan is on my floor, and she stepped in. She didn't get to play as much as all the other upperclassmen and stuff like that, and there were a couple freshmen. But she played, and she had a lot of heart, and I see her all the time hanging out with all the other volleyball girls. A fantastic team, great bunch of girls, and it shows in their record.
Yeah, and you were just talking about the freshman. One who was very, very good was Grace Stryker. We were talking about it before the show, and you didn't even realize she was a freshman.
I did not realize that she was a freshman because, she played so well during the year. And I just think all those girls, they're all fantastic. We're going to be missing the seniors leaving. They made great accomplishments, and they're going to be passing down a torch to these other underclassmen, and I think that they can bring it on for the next year, and I think that they can do great things next year as well.
Yeah, I definitely think they're well positioned to make another run next fall. They were the first team from that fall season to get into the MAC playoffs, which is huge for this school, and the MAC championships are always exciting no matter what sport it is.
Oh yeah.
Now, Pat, I'm going to ask you, since we're wrapping up the fall season now, if gender is no issue, which one of these sports you get to go to coach and say, I should be on this team? Which one are you going to pick?
Probably volleyball. I mean, I love volleyball. I mean, amateur at best. I'm not very good, but I'm pretty tall, so it was always something that I'd love to play. Me and my dad would play volleyball, and it was just kind of fun. Goof around. I don't think I would actually be any good at playing or coaching, but I would really love to do, if I were to pick from these teams, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I played in high school. It's a lot of fun, but I think the girls who play D1 would just mop the floor.
Oh, God. It wouldn't even be fair. I mean, it wouldn't be competition. I may be taller, but it wouldn't even be close.
No, not at all. And so with that, let's jump into the winter season. This was where a lot of the success was, maybe surprising success, and that starts out with men's basketball, who traditionally, as well as anybody, has been awful. But this year they were 20-14 overall, 11-7 in conference play, and that was really because of Billy Barron, of course, transfer point guard. He had 17.2 points a game, 5 assists, was really just tremendous, and had a whole new energy around this team.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, awful would be an understatement for last year's team, and Coach Barron and Billy have really, both of them coming in have been such a huge turnaround for us. We have new players. We still have players that were on the team before, but you can see how much more organized the team has become. They're all pretty good friends with each other. I saw a couple today in the gym. They're going on for a run, stop and say hi. They're all great guys. But they really lacked last year was the leadership and the organization. Billy really stepped up to that because you need a strong point guard. Billy has great passes and Billy has great shots. He's a great leader in general. Because last year nobody wanted to go to the games because you don't want to see your team lose. It was sad, but last year is dead, and I'm very glad to say that we are moving on to a bigger and brighter future. And this team will only continue to get better. It exceeded my expectations so far for this year. I expected us to be better, but I didn't know how much better we would be. And shot out the roof. It was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. They were just far and away better than anybody expected, including the fans who never really caught up. They never were quite there in full force to support the team. Maybe that was because nobody expected them to be so well, whatever the reason may be. Do you think that next year they're going to get fans to start coming out?
Oh, absolutely. I feel that, last year you get the rumor of, nobody, they already have that built in their head. Nobody goes to the basketball games because the team isn't good. And it's been that way for years. Like before I came here, that's what I heard. But it's D1. These guys are putting their lives on the line. It's a part of their lives. It's in their soul. And now that we have people saying our basketball team is good, people are going to come out and see that. So that's a huge turnaround for the C block.
Yeah, and you would hope fans start coming out. Same thing for women's basketball. They definitely deserved the fans to come. They weren't quite as successful as men's basketball this year. They were just 12-19 overall. 8-10 in the MAC, but they snuck into the tournament. MVP for this team, I say, has got to be Ashley Durham, senior guard. They're going to miss her a lot. She was their leading scorer, 11.7 points per game.
Yeah, Ashley was big.
But talk about the season that they had. I know it wasn't quite as successful as the men's, but it was entertaining.
It was. I've always loved women's basketball. My mom was a basketball player, and a bunch of my friends in high school were basketball players, and I'd always go support them at the women's games. But, you know, I mean, that's a really underrated sport. You know, people are always talking about men's teams and stuff like that. But the women's basketball, you see these girls play, and they're a high caliber sport. They know how to play. They know what they're doing. You know, they've got a lot of heart. If you go anywhere, you see the girls basketball team going together, and you see the girls basketball team showing up at events together, and they're always cheering, having a good time. They've got a whole lot of camaraderie on that team. They've got so much heart, and you know, we're really going to miss Ashley. She was a big part of it. But, you know, we've got other players coming in, and it's still a fairly young team that, you know, it's pretty stable at this point. And Courtney got injured earlier in the year, and that was a huge blow to the season. You know, she's a leader on the team, and, you know, that's something that we want to, you know, you got to have leaders. So, you know, these things happen.
Yeah, and hopefully having her back will help absorb the losses of Ashley Durham, Ashley Wilkes, Allison Braun. But you talked about the camaraderie that the women's basketball team had. How about the hockey team? They were as good of a team as I've watched in college hockey.
I mean, I was not a hockey guy before I came here. I came from Binghamton, New York, so it's like, we had the Senators, but it wasn't a huge thing as, you know, you come to Buffalo. Yeah, if you don't like the Sabres, you might as well get out of town. Or the Bills, really. But, I mean, really, the hockey's a huge thing here, and this team was fantastic. You know, they played their hearts out every game, and also a great bunch of guys. These are some of the nicest guys on campus. You know, you see them around, you say hi to them, you grow out a mustache, you know, you want to bond with them. I mean, just a great bunch of guys, and they had definitely the biggest year of anybody. Going to the NCAA, you know, that was huge. That was fantastic. That's like the best news that we could ask for, getting the buzz around. And, you know, that builds us up for next year. We're losing a couple great guys as seniors, but, you know, having that reputation as a winning team is really going to make it better for us for recruitment-wise and getting people as fans. And, I mean, as fans, it really did hurt not having our own rink, but, you know, you could still see some great hockey for free, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and their success was definitely the high point of this entire athletic season for Canisius, I would have to say. It was tough to pick one MVP for this team because they play so well together. We ultimately decided that it had to be Tony Capobianco because his defense was spectacular in the playoffs. He was the key to them getting into the NCAA tournament.
He's fantastic. He's a great guy, too. He's really nice. You ever talk to him? He's such a nice guy. He's a good guy.
Straight from Pat Clancy's mouth, Tony Capobianco, the nicest guy on campus. Moving on to the spring sports now, and some of them are still in action. Men's lacrosse is not. Their season just ended.
Sadly.
Unfortunately, there's 3-10 overall, 2-4 in the MAC, but they had a chance. If they had beaten Detroit last Saturday, they would have gotten into the MAC championship. Tim Edwards, sophomore midfielder, is our pick for team MVP. He led the team in goals with 20 at 39 points, also had 19 assists, a very solid player. But even though it was a bit disappointing, talk about what men's lacrosse has to look forward to.
You know, men's lacrosse, they lost a lot of seniors last year. So like women's soccer, they're a youthful team, and they've still got some building to do, you know. And a lot of the games, I mean, of course, the record doesn't look fantastic, but a lot of the games were very close. You know, they're back and forth games. So, I mean, if you ever went to them, you know, the scores may not say it, but they're always very exciting. And I'm a lacrosse guy. I always loved lacrosse. And it's a great sport for people who don't know about it. They should definitely get into it. It's a lot of fun to play. But, you know, again, I have to say, you know, it's a young team. It's a building time, you know. Of course, it doesn't sound great, but last year we won the MAC, didn't we? It was, we won the MAC, and, you know, that's something that we've been recruiting new guys and getting new blood in there, and, you know, that's the cycle that it has to go through.
Yeah, and you're right. Once they get a little bit more experience, there's no reason to think that they can't be a successful team again. And the other thing you're right about, it's a very exciting sport. I never had really gotten into it until I was on the beat for the Griffin for them this season, and it's a lot of fun. I think fans, if they went out I know it's a little cold when the season starts.
Yeah, a couple of games are really cold, but it's still a good time if you can bear the weather.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and especially if they start to win like the women's lacrosse team does. They were an absolute powerhouse this year.
God.
Didn't lose a game in the MAC. They were 12-4 overall, and sophomore Tori Quinn was unbelievable. She kind of stepped into her sister's role from last year. She had 42 goals, 25 assists, led the team with 67 points, but they've been great this year.
Yeah, this is a team that really does spring sports justice because these girls work so hard. They're always working. You go in the gym anytime, you probably see a couple of lacrosse girls in there. Bunch of great girls too. They're also, I can't give enough praises to all these teams. There's just so many nice people on them. But they're a bunch of really nice girls, and it shows that their teamwork is really bleeding on to how they play. Not like their teamwork as just girls. They get along with each other, and they really do play well with each other. And it's great chemistry. They're great athletes, and they're just fantastic.
Yeah, just like every other team that's had success, you mentioned the teamwork, and that's been the key to all of the winning teams that we have here at Canisius. And baseball is similar. They play well as a team, and they're having a lot of success this year. As their MAC record is 9-6, just a little bit above 500, but overall they have over 30 wins, 32-11 to be exact. They the best overall record in the conference, and they have a lot of players who are doing exceptionally well. First baseman Jimmy Lupins is hitting .390, has 5 home runs, 37 RBIs, leads the team in all 3 categories, but they're fun to watch too.
Oh yeah, being a lacrosse guy, I never really got into baseball, but it still is. It's fun to relax on if you got a nice Saturday out watching baseball. Like, that's American, That's what we do. They really liked the didgeridoo as a Aboriginal instrument that I brought to a couple of the games, and every game that I've been to, they have not lost with that didgeridoo. So I think that might be a little bit of a good luck for them. And they're just a whole bunch of good guys, Baseball, it is fun to watch. As much as being a lacrosse guy, it hurts me to say that, but it is a fun sport to watch, and it is fun to play too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but the thing I'm stuck on is what in the world is a didgeridoo, Pat?
God, it sounds like an awful fart noise through a long tube. It's embarrassing to describe, but you'd know it when you heard it. It's just a blah, and I can't wait to see this later. My impression of that, but yeah, it's an instrument from Australia. The Aborigines use it, and it's pretty annoying. So.
Well, if anyone can make beautiful music with it, I'm sure it's you, Pat, and maybe you ought to start bringing that to softball games as well, as they are kind of hovering right in the middle. They're 6-8 overall in conference play, 21-22. Not a terrible record by any means, but they're not having quite the same success that baseball is having. They have some really good pitching, primarily Jen Consul. She's a junior, 15-9 overall, 2.46 ERA. She also has a save. She kind of does it all for that pitching staff. But I know you haven't been to a lot of softball games as much as you have baseball and lacrosse. But they're a team that, again, it's kind of building, just like men's lacrosse, just like women's soccer. But the thing that I've kind of found is the worst thing you can say about any of these teams is, oh, they're building. They've got good young talent. Just let them mesh together. And that's really exciting for the future of Canisius sports.
Yeah, they're another team that I haven't got to see them as much as I'd like to. But, they're still young. I mean, it's. I hate to keep repeating myself, but it's a fact of sports that these things happen. It's not a bad thing. You can't have a fantastic season every season. I mean, you can, but at a school this size, we're gonna lose some players, and we're gonna need to rebuild, and leaders are gonna have to step up. This is where leaders are made. So.
Well, absolutely. It's just the nature of college sports. Every 4 years, you're going to have to cycle players out, cycle new ones in. It's just how it kind of works. Pat, let's go from the winter season and then from the spring season. Again, you can go to coach and just be like, I deserve to be on this team, make your case. Pick one from each season and why.
The winter season, I would pick hockey. I've never played hockey, but I just love to hit somebody with that, hit somebody into the glass. And, it's a fun atmosphere. I'd like to learn how to skate, and that would be pretty fun. But, it's a different sport for me. And it's a lot of fun. I love the atmosphere at the games, that the guys are really, together with each other. So that would be my winter sport. And my spring sport, I'd have to give it to lacrosse, because that's really the only sport here that I actually know things about. I definitely played defense. I wasn't bad myself. I was on the All-Star team my senior year. I was a captain. So, I think that I actually might be able to walk on as a warm body, but I probably wouldn't. But in this scenario, yeah, it would be men's lacrosse.
Hey, if you can make a D1 sport, that's a great accomplishment to you.
I probably wouldn't, but
you don't try out, you can pretend you did.
That's true.
The way I like to go with things. And Patty, I'm sure you've heard about synchro. That's been the big story the last couple of weeks. What's your opinion there?
I have 2 girls on my floor, Lena and Laura, who, they're fantastic girls. And for anyone who hasn't seen synchronized swimming, it's something that you can't really describe, because it's just, you look at it and you go, how do you even do that stuff? They're holding their breath underwater and they're dancing to the music. And I hate to be redundant with it be calling synchronized swimming, but it's so synchronized that it's mind-boggling. And these girls, I believe it's 16 years in a row that they've won the max.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to cut a sport like that, and we're nationally ranked. I mean, it's not a really huge spectator sport where it doesn't really bring in the revenue, but something that we're really good at and something that we're known, and a great bunch of girls. It's really sad to see that team be let go, because it's great to watch. If people would only give it a chance, they would see how much fun that sport is. It's hard to even describe, but I mean, I'm just heartbroken about that. I know that the girls who are on the team, and now they're leaving to go to other schools to pursue their synchronized swimming careers. And, best of luck to them. I'm sad to see them go, but I want to see them continue swimming, because they're so fantastic at it, and they deserve to keep on doing what they love. But it breaks my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really tough decision that had to be made, and you feel bad for those girls, but hopefully they can get into other schools and continue to swim. Pat, it was great having you on the show. Great hearing
being here.
All your thoughts on Griff Sports. Go learn how to skate so you can try out for the hockey team. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, you're watching #GriffSports. When we come back, my co-anchor Brandon Road will be back at the desk with me, and we'll talk about this whole semester, our experiences here, and what we're looking for in the future from #GriffSports.
Go Griffs!
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Hi, this is Mallory Hagan, Miss America 2013. I'm here to talk about a difficult subject, child sexual abuse. It's a crime that can impact anyone. I know because members of my own family were victims. It needs to stop now, and the only way it ends is to talk about it. I'm proud to partner with Brooklyn District Attorney Charles J. Hines to raise awareness for this issue. District Attorney Hines was the first in the nation to create a Crimes Against Children Bureau. Their staff of attorneys and counselors are dedicated to prosecuting those who prey on the most innocent victims. Please don't stay silent. If you know a child who is in immediate danger, please call 911. If you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, please call the State Central Register at 1-800-342-3720. Join me and District Attorney Hines' fight to end child sexual abuse.
Welcome back to #GriffSports. Brandon Rudd is back with me, rocking the sunglasses just like Pat Clancy was. And as we said at the beginning of the show, this is the very end of the semester for us. It's been a fun ride. We've improved a lot. And Brandon, what's the one thing you're going to take away from this semester, looking forward to into the future of #GriffSports?
Well, Kyle, I think we're improving. I mean, that's the great thing about this show. I mean, when we did the first episode, it was just us being stern and strict and saying all these sports information. But I think going to season 2, we're starting to communicate a little bit better and just having a great time doing this show. I mean, it's going to be a great show next semester and great for you, the fans.
I think you're absolutely right. We kind of got our feet wet this semester, and now we're going to have a lot more content coming back in the fall. We should have a website for you all to look forward to, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll get to do some more player features next fall. There's a lot of things to be excited for, and there's so many people that really we have to thank for the production of this show.
Yeah, first of all, I would just like to thank everyone who has worked on this show from the very beginning, especially our senior technical director, Hannah. I mean, she's been such a great help, so fantastic. And Mary for helping us and helping me, especially with the scripts and helping everyone around here. I think it's just been a big help, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, we absolutely could not have done it without them behind the glass, and thank you to everybody else who's been on the show, including Joe Ritigliano, Pat Clancy today, Nick Veronica, Jordan LaBarber, Rich Longino. It's been a fun semester of #GriffSports with all of you. So one final time, I'm Kyle Ferrara, he's Brandon Rudd. Have a great summer at Canisius College.
See you next semester.